we've got quite a harrowing story for you now. In 2011, Andrew Osborne set off for work as a security guard at the supermarket where he'd worked for over 20 years.
However, just over an hour into his shift, Andrew was attacked by a man armed with knives who threatened to kill him and his family. The assault left Andrew suffering with severe post-traumatic stress disorder.
And a quick warning, if you have small or sensitive children with you watching, there are some strong images coming up in this film.
Andrew Osborne was a supermarket security guard. He was a sociable guy who loved practicing martial arts and being with friends. But all that changed in March 2011 when he was attacked at work.
I saw this very tall white chap and he was running at speed, but I didn't know where he was going at the time. He squared up to me, and to my horror, I could see all his weaponry he had. He had a hockey stick with a modified blade attached to it, and he was wearing a builder's utility belt, and there was 5 kitchen knives in the pockets. And he also had a shield. And then he said my name, Andrew Osborne. He said, I've come to kill you. And then he said he's going to kill all my brothers and sisters, and he named every one of them.
After threatening Andrew, his worst nightmare came true as his attacker began to lunge towards him with a knife.
When he chased me right into the store, I saw my friend challenge him, take him down, and the manager intervened. And then the police arrived. Sometimes I'll see a knife coming through my chest, and then sometimes I'll see a knife coming from the side here, and coming to cut me across here. And even now, I still say, why me? Since the attack, I've been suffering irrational thoughts. I just didn't want to be here anymore. In a nutshell. Just didn't want to be around anymore.
With that heartfelt admission, Nick and Eva begin Andrew's therapy session.
If you were to have scored your life out of 10 at that point, 10 being fantastic, what would you have scored it?
10.
And what about now?
About 4.
You're scoring like a 4 out of 10?
Yeah.
I have a photograph of CCTV footage of your attacker going into your place of work after you. Could I turn that round? And how are you in public places generally?
Public. My anxiety goes up.
On a scale of 0 to 10 fear, how would you scale that? What out of 10 is the fear?
9.
To get an understanding of Andrew's anxiety levels, Nick and Eva take him to a nearby town.
So are you happy just to walk into the shopping centre on your own? We'll stay here. Are you happy to walk in on your own and see how you feel?
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Well, we'll just wait here, just go as far as you feel comfortable,
Okay.
and then just come back.
This is Andrew's first time alone in a busy shopping centre since the attack.
We've just come in and we can see that Andrew is really struggling. He's looking very, very anxious.
So we need to go right now, okay? Yeah, right now.
So,
Well, let's take you back. We'll fill it up. That's the last of it now, you know?
Okay.
You've studied martial arts for such a long time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have looked at you and thought, wow, Andrew Osborne, you never want to mess with him.
It's true, that is.
All right.
That's so true. You down the head with that.
When you were faced with that attacker, that you didn't act in accordance with your persona.
That's right.
And the biggest thing that you're holding on to, Andrew, is embarrassment. But have you considered that you saved your family? Brothers and sisters?
you said I was the eldest brother, so I was supposed to be the strong one. I came for you first, and as a result of that, it's been locked away. You've saved your brothers and sisters.
But what if you come for your sister first? Right. Do you deserve to be attacking yourself for the last 4 years?
No.
It's powerful stuff. We'll be catching up with Andrew, who's just joined us now, and finding out if the Speakmans were able to help him. That's all after this short break.
Welcome back. Now, just before the break,
we heard Andrew Osborne's terrifying story. Andrew has suffered from severe post-traumatic stress disorder after being attacked at work back in 2011. But have the statements been able to help him? Well, Nick and Eva and Andrew join us now. So we saw that a horrific attack that happened to you whilst you're at work should never ever have happened, and how it's going to affect your life in so many ways. And sleep has been one of the worst things, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah, I've been having a lot of night terrors. And sometimes I'd be shouting out in my sleep, which my wife would notice. And it's one of those things, it really is very unsettled.
Have you, so obviously that was one of the first things you addressed.
It was, yeah. I mean, our therapy is very evidential based, and therefore what we did was we kind of set out some parameters of what we could tackle, so Andrew knew that he was over it. And the first one was the sleep, because that was a huge issue. Obviously, people with sleep deprivation can't function anyway. So, just asking you now, Andrew, how's things going with the sleep?
Well, I'm sleeping like a baby now.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
yeah.
For
So
the
no
first
more
time
night
since the
terrors?
attack.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So and the other thing, obviously, we saw him going into a shopping centre, and Andrew, he was like a little boy lost, and we felt we had to go and rescue him from there, because you could see there was very physical anxiety present. So, having said that, this morning he was at a train station, and he was walking through.
Arriving at, this is you, I think you were at Waterloo this morning,
And
weren't
it's obviously that kind of big crowds walking around, people maybe
Big crowds, first thing in the morning.
exactly,
I mean, they
rush
don't get
hour.
much bigger than that.
That's right.
How did you feel?
Oh, really good.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Felt happy to be there.
Yes, I did. I felt very, very happy.
Tell from your body language, actually, as you're walking along, you're so much more comfortable than you were the previous time that we saw you. You know, you're not sort of holding your hands and comforting yourself. You can see you're standing there, walking very, very strong through that
He
crowd.
admitted to us actually that he's done a couple of shopping sprees on his own since.
Good.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the supermarket in question.
Correct. Yeah, that was
That's a big step, a very big step to go back there.
It
How
was.
was that?
Actually, it was quite remarkable. He was positively shining. People recognised him, and it was actually a very beautiful experience.
It was, because he'd been such a major component to the community for 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and going back there, obviously, even the logo or public places, even the thought, you can see that.
And what was that moment like for you? I bet you thought you'd never walk through those doors again.
Well, at first, when Nick and Eva told me they were going to be taking me back to Wolverhampton, at the place of where the incident happened, I thought, no, this has got to be done. I've got to conquer this and get through this, because I'm not only affecting myself, but the people who I love in my life.
And what was the next step?
The next step was actually to look at a still of the weapons, because that was something that Andrew could never do. And we've actually not tested him with those. We thought we'd see in studio.
So
How do you
these
feel
are,
about that?
there's a quick warning here, because these are obviously weapons, it's quite graphic.
They are. Are you happy for me to show you a picture today
Yes.
now? Because I know you wouldn't do this when we first met you. So there's a picture of all the weapons.
Does that make you feel nice?
I've defeated him.
It doesn't, but that's
Then
not
that's
not
to me,
acceptable.
boy.
Turn that round for us, Nick, because that is
I mean, that is a photo that's going to upset anybody to see something
extraordinary
like that.
array of weapons. And the final step, of
There
course,
was
we saw it in the BT, that the CCTV captured image
That's right.
of the attacker, and you couldn't look at that.
No, I couldn't really, because he was haunting me for a long time after that.
That would be the image you see
Yeah,
in
I can't see another
your
shot
dreams
my
at night.
eyes. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
You
Well,
have it there, don't you?
actually, yeah, we do have a picture here, which I'm going to show Andrew. This is when the guy came into your place of work. Anything? Any negative? Because obviously you couldn't even look at this when we even
No, I
asked you about it. You
couldn't.
said it was a 9 or 10 anxiety. Anything?
How have you
Just incredible.
done this then?
Well, again, our therapy, as you know, is very evidential, and what tends to happen with someone with PTSD, in that moment of absolute terror, when someone walks to you and says they want to kill you, you get stuck in time, because what Andrew's trying to do for the last 4 years is make that situation better and solve it in a better way, and keeps re-looking, and all the flashbacks and all the nightmares are how he could perhaps make it different. But essentially you can't, because what happened, and it's what we did was make Andrew accept that it happened, but ultimately trying to fix it for the 4 years, he carried on essentially attacking himself, if that makes sense. And we can see that he has let it go. There was one other test though, which was hasn't been able to touch a knife or look at
He
knives.
can't even cut his wife a piece of cheese because he couldn't touch knives. And we've actually got a knife here, which will be the final component of our sort of evidential-based therapy in helping Andrew realise it happened in that moment and it ended in that moment, and he did the very best he possibly could in that moment.
Yeah.
But we would like to show him the knife if that's okay.
You're up for that?
You're happy?
Yeah,
Sure.
so he's never touched or seen or been near a knife since.
How does that make you feel?
I'm okay with that, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Could you
I
feel
think that was, I could see you pausing there thinking I should
Yeah.
be feeling something, but it's not hit me yet. It's confusing, isn't it? This is everybody has the same thing where
Yes,
you're
they do.
confused because you're waiting for the fear to kick in, and that familiar feeling doesn't
That's
come.
absolutely right. When you felt a certain way for 4 years,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you don't, you do question. But you're
It's going to make it. It's going to make a massive difference at home.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Like Jen, I think is, honestly, he really was so broken
Yeah.
when he came to see us. We were desperate to help him, and we're really grateful that we've been able to, because there's a lot of people, 1 in 3 people who've suffered a trauma will get post-traumatic stress disorder, and we're really grateful that you've been so brave in sharing this,
Well
giving
done.
us hope.
Well done, you. Go and live your life.
Life starts here.
Thank you. Thank you both, as always. Fantastic.
Right. It's time for a